welcome back to Irons United for what is another transfer show, and it's a busy one, if I'm being brutally honest with you. The news just keeps coming in, the rumours keep coming in, and I don't know, sometimes it's struggled to keep up with it. But of course, we did commit to doing a transfer show for yous, and we are going to keep going through with it. So the whole point of the transfer show is to look at all the players that are linked out of the club, into the club, potentially transfer fees, what goals they score, what skills they have, what attributes they have, if they've had any assists. And sometimes, if we're talking about a lot of players, and we're trying to keep these videos short, sharp, and sweet, maybe sometimes we try to dissect some of the players a little bit more than others. But we hope you like the videos. We certainly aren't saying that there's that they are facts, but just bear with us and enjoy the videos. Get your comments in below, of course. Hit the thumbs up, and of course you need to subscribe to the channel because we've got great content and we're cool guys, apparently. Anyway, before we get into some of the transfer news, make sure that you do know that if you're a season ticket holder at West Ham, that West Ham have officially announced tonight that they've extended the deadline of all season ticket holders to renew their season tickets until the 11th of September. I'm not going to read into that too much just now. And what I'm going to do is point you in the direction of potentially Alf's live Q&A on Thursday evening, and also Stell's West Ham Weekly on Sunday night, where they'll definitely go into depth about the season ticket renewal deadline change. So get your comments in. Briefly, let me know what your thoughts are. We've got someone in the chat. They'll have a brief discussion with you on the season ticket situation. We are here for a transfer show. Other bits of news is that tomorrow we'll see the released fixtures announced for the Premier League. So it'll be interesting to see who West Ham come up against and how the Premier League have actually sorted out their fixtures for the coming season, who West Ham will pull in first. If we'll get a home tie in Boxing Day, and or who we'll face in the last game of the season. We will be coming to you with a live video tomorrow morning, so make sure you tune in tomorrow morning. We'll be starting a good bit before the fixtures are announced, so a little bit before 9 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you tune into the channel and stick with us. We'll just have a big chit chats, etc. It won't be the longest video in the world, but it will be giving you updates on the fixtures that have just been announced. And before we get into the transfers, we all know that West Ham are in Scotland just now, where I currently live, of course. They're actually training at St Andrews. Weather's been lovely in Scotland as well as down south. I know recently, past couple of days, it's not been so nice down south, where we've been blessed and been quite fortunate with good weather still up in Scotland. So you could jokingly say it's been the warm weather training, but of course it's not. So yeah, keep your eye out on all the social media, and particular tomorrow on our channel, because we might have something a little bit interesting for you. I won't give you too much details until I know for a fact exactly if it's happening or not, but tune in tomorrow for that. But let's get straight on to some of the rumours kicking about with West Ham. And tonight it's actually been announced, or rumoured to have been announced, that West Ham are open to offers for 3 of our current squad. Now, listen, I'm coming to you with shows day in, day out, every week, etc. Talking about Issa Diop and, Declan Rice, all our assets that we've got at the club. But the rumour is that we're open to bids for Lanzini, Philippe Anderson, and Sebastian Haller. Now, let's talk to you a little bit about Lanzini. He signed for West Ham on loan in 2015 with an option to make the move permanent. And in 2016, West Ham confirmed that we had taken up the option to sign Lanzini on a permanent deal, which took effect in July 2016. Lanzini's career with West Ham, he's performed in the Premier League in particular over 120 appearances with 20 goals and 13 assists. Now, it's no secret that Lanzini has been struggling for form, and probably particular since his injury, but you could even stem back a little bit further since the first particular season in the new stadium, when the moment that Payet left the club. And it would be a shame. I've been trying to battle Lanzini's corner week in, week out during the season when people have said, no, get rid of the guy, he's past it, he's gone, he's past it, he's gone. But if West Ham need to generate some form of income, for me, it seems to be potentially one of the players we may need to look at. I mean, we are rammed in that midfield. And he's just not performing week in and week out. I do think we've got a level of mismanagement at the club of specific types of players, maybe the luxurious players. We're not used to that, so we need the hard-working midfielders and hard-working sort of players. So what do you think of the Lanzini that he's potentially been told to leave? Are you surprised? I don't know if I am, really. And is this rumour true? We're not too sure, but let's be honest. I mean, who's not for sale, especially in the current market when we know that West Ham have no money to spend? And we need to so desperately generate some form of income if we're going to add some, value to the squad that we've currently got. So, he's been with us. He's had a good run at West Ham. I would be sad to see Lanzini go, but it may be time that Lanzini does have to go. And I don't know if he'll go back to his club. I think he was out in the Emirates. Or some other club. My fear with Lanzini, if I'm being brutally honest with you guys that are watching the show, please get your comments in below and hit the thumbs up, etc. My biggest fear about Lanzini is that he does sign for another club, potentially in the Premier League and or all over Europe, and he finds his form again. And that's just typical West Ham. It's just very, very typical West Ham. So I don't know where I'm at with this, but I think maybe I do. Maybe it is time that he has to go. I'm not sure. Get your comments in. Let me know thoughts on Lanzini. Next up is Philippe Anderson, who signed for West Ham for a reported transfer fee of £36 million. At the time, was a record fee in 2018. Now, this is an interesting one because Anderson has made over 60 appearances for the club in the Premier League, scoring 10 goals and 8 assists. Now, it's questionable whether or not you think he has performed well or not. I think the fan base is 50-50 in relation to Anderson's performance with the club. The only but I'll say is this the thing I'm saying to you about Lanzini? Has he been mismanaged? Has he been playing out of position? We know potentially he's got his head maybe drops in some of the games, but he is a luxurious player. Now, when he plays to his best ability and in the best position, he is unplayable. My fear about letting Anderson go would be that we've still got the best yet to come. And if we can strengthen in the right areas and play him in the right position, in my opinion, his right position is in behind the strikers, then we may be missing out on a guy that can offer a hell of a lot more. Now, over the last few seasons, the first season was his best return in a West Ham shirt. Last season, he didn't start as many games. He came on from the subs bench quite a lot, and then obviously got the injury closer to the end of the season. But I don't know, because again, this could be one of those players that, you're hearing that the rumours that Arsenal or potentially any other Premier League club or Lazio or any other European club would be interested in Anderson signing. Now, you can't help but think that fitted into the right team, he'll absolutely tear defences apart. I just go back to that spell under Pellegrini in the winter when Anderson was played in behind the strikers and he was unplayable at times. This season, just before lockdown, he played against Liverpool. I couldn't believe my eyes when fans were saying things like, he had a crap game. He may not have had the most technically gifted game in that game, but what he did was draw defenders and draw the midfielders out of position, allowing all the other players to give West Ham a chance to try and win that game, where unfortunately we lost it coming to the end of the game. But he has got something. But again, I understand West Ham are skint and he is an asset, and will we sell one of our assets? And I think we all know that that's going to happen because we have no money and we want to bring in some depth in that squad and maybe someone else that can challenge it. But for me personally, I don't want to see Anderson go. I'm happy for him to stay. So we'll see how this one pans out. Get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on Anderson. Next up is Sebastian Haller, who signed for West Ham on a 5-year deal for a club record fee that could rise up to £45 million. Now, he has played 32 times for West Ham in the Premier League this past season. He's only started 24 of those games, scoring 7 goals with 1 assist. Now, again, this falls into the section of do we risk getting rid of a player who has got a talent, but will go somewhere else, score banging goals, etc. Now let's not forget that West Ham, in particular, over the last 4 or 5 seasons, have not played to potentially any of the strikers we've had strengths. And I put Haller in that bandwagon again. He definitely, in my opinion, has not played to the strengths of, or would not play to the strengths of Sebastian Haller. So, yes, I know he cost a lot of money, and I know you want him to hit the ground running, but equally, he wasn't starting as many games prior to the lockdown easing up, and I'm worried that, I'd done a transfer video on Jovic from Real Madrid, who obviously played with Haller in Frankfurt, and looking at both the players, the all-rounder is Jovic, and there's another rumour saying that West Ham are interested in Jovic. Maybe we got the wrong player, but we need to keep a hold of Haller and try and get someone else in up front. And I think there's other assets in our squad that we should be looking to sell, or players that are looking to sell, just to try and bring in those much needed finances. I don't think it should be Haller. I don't think it should be Anderson. I certainly don't think it should be Diop. But I'm looking around the other side of the teams, and I'm looking around maybe Lanzini. Now, I like Yarmolenko, etc., but do you think these players should be the ones that should bite the bullet for West Ham to bring in some much needed finances? Let me know your thoughts on those particular 3 players. Next up is this man. We all know him really well, Jordan Hugill. So it's reported that we are interested in selling and happy to accept a fee of around £5 million for Jordan Hugill. He signed from Preston North End back in the last day of the transfer window for a fee of around £8 million. And he never really found his feet in the Premier League after scoring over 20 goals and in over 100 appearances for Preston North End. Listen, when he signed for the club, you were probably equally as shocked as I was, and yeah, it was Moyes' signing, and don't really know where it came from. I mean, it's not that he's been prolific in his career, and he played at a lower level, and I don't mind giving players a chance, but it just came out of the blue from nothing, and yeah, for me, it was an extremely odd one. But Hugill did spend last season on loan at QPR, one of the many championship clubs who are interested in a permanent deal for the 28-year-old. Hugill has returned to the championship over the last 2 seasons, spending a year at Middlesbrough, scoring over 6 goals in 35 appearances, and then recently finishing off his season on loan at QPR, ending in a successful campaign of 15 goals in 41 appearances, which of course is what's triggered the interest in the player. So it looks like relegated Norwich City have also registered an interest in him, but with the fact that West Ham are interested in Iberici Eze, and it's looking like Moyes has got him as his potentially number one target, looks like we would like to involve Hugill in any deal with QPR's side that could give us the edge on getting him into the Premier League with West Ham. So, but if no deal could have been struck with QPR, they were looking to set up another loan deal with Hugill. But with the interest now that Norwich are potentially interested in him, it'll be an interesting one. Now, again, more rumours are coming out. What do you value him as? West Ham are wanting £5 million to try and recoup some of the £8 million. West Ham don't have a great history of buying in players and selling them on for profits. In actual fact, we sell them on for losses, and we do that a lot, and it's not great. But Norwich, will they want to spend £5 million on a player, especially being relegated, just coming off the COVID? They'll have some parachute payments from the Premier League, of course. But he does have 15 goals in him from last season's, and I'd be surprised if he would go to Norwich, especially, if QPR have shown any form of interest. But we'll see. What do you guys think? He returned sorry, like I said, he's set to be allowed to leave West Ham. And he's got 2 years left in his contract. He's on an average about 30 to 35k a week. So he's a target man. He's got good strength. If you look at his style of play when he played for QPR last season, he's able to outmuscle opposition defenders. But again, he's only played 3 times substitute appearances for West Ham in the Premier League, and he's not really shown anything. But is that enough to give you something? Who knows? Listen, lots of banter between fans saying that maybe we should give Hugill a shot. And you know, do you know what? Come the end of the transfer window, we may have no other option, and it could be a forward line of Antonio, Seb Haller, and Hugill. So we'll be interested to see what comes from that link as well. So get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on Hugill potentially leaving the club and signing for Norwich, who's the link, or potentially QPR. Next up, though, is an interesting one. Now, there's not been a huge amount of links to him, but it's more about a player that, you know, a lot of people are talking about, and there has been a couple of cheeky little links to West Ham, etc., but it's not been one in the forefront of everyone's mind. And the player is 26-year-old John Lundstram, currently plying his trade at Sheffield United. He started his career at Everton as a youth player. He represented England at every level from under 17 to under 20, but couldn't get a first team action, so was loaned out to 6 different clubs. Now, are you ready to follow me? And hopefully I've got these in the correct order as I possibly can, but I apologise if I haven't got them in the right order. Doncaster Rovers, Yeovil Town, Leyton Orient, Blackpool, went back to Leyton Orient again, and then Scunthorpe United. So he's done his rounds in the leagues, and he was transferred to League Two side Oxford United in 2015, where he spent 2 solid seasons. And in the 2016-17 season, one which ended in promotion, he must have thought playing in the Premier League must have seemed a long way at this point, doing the rounds in the lower leagues in particular. But he got a move to Bramall Lane when they played Sheffield United were playing in the Championship, and a fee that would eventually rise to £700,000. But like his manager currently, Chris Wilder, whose coaching career famously began in the non-leagues, Lundstram challenges a modern trend. He's a player who's had to axe his way up the cliff, who hasn't defaulted into the Premier League by right, and who actually seems equipped with a broader range of abilities as a result of that experience. You know, part of that reason for his visibility now is his effort and his energy and his willingness to run long distances in pursuit of a potential chance. He's a grafter, he's a grinder, the player who never gives up on anything. He played 40 in his first season with Sheffield United, played 40 games for them, but in his second one he turned out just 10 times. But he was already anticipating trying to get a move away from the club at that time. But then when Sheffield United obviously got promoted, Chris Wilder pulled him aside and said, listen, I want to give you a chance. He's played over 80 times for Sheffield United, scoring 8 goals, of which 5 came this Premier League season, this current one that's just gone by, and 3 assists. The rumour is that Sheffield United are willing to listen to offers of £8 million for this guy. What do you think of what I've said in particular about Lundstram? I think it's a player we should be looking at. It's another midfielder. Do we need to strengthen in that area? In my opinion, we don't. But again, that depends on if we sell. The transfer market is a little bit quiet just now. So it would be interesting to see the likes of a player like that linked to us. I mean, he fits the mould of younger players. He's got lots of Premier League experience. He's performing to a high level. He is edgy in that midfield. He is clever in that midfield area. And again, depending on who does go out the way, it could be another decent potential signing for Moyes. So that really rounds up our transfer show today. We've discussed the potential outgoings of Hugill, Anderson, Lanzini, and Haller. Get your comments in and let me know what you think of those 4 particular players. Who would you like to see leave? Who would you like to see stay? How much do you think they're valued at? One thing I probably didn't mention to you was, if Lanzini was to leave, what would you value him at? And I just don't think we'll recoup anywhere near the money that we would be thinking. I mean, the rumour they're saying is this time last year, Diop was potentially valued at upwards of 50 odd, 60 million pounds, but West Ham are now willing to listen to offers of 45. Would we get 45 for Diop? I don't know in the current market. Haller, how can we even recoup anywhere near the money that we've got that we signed him for? I mean, I know we've got him in instalments. And we're struggling to pay the installments. Don't know if they've been paid up just now. So, yeah, get your comments in. Let me know your thoughts on that. And the same with Anderson as well. But a couple of those players I've mentioned to you, my personal opinion on whether they should stay or go. And then Lundstram from Sheffield United. What do you think of the link with him and bringing him into the club? So get your comments in below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know there's lots of comments there, but, you know, we've got plenty of shows that we do engage with the audience as much as we can. So I'm not going to go through them. I mean, there's like so many. I can see the thing beeping in the corner of my eye. But I just want to say hi to all the regulars that are watching, anyone that's new that's watching. Thank you very much for tuning into Irons United. Just please let me remind you, tomorrow morning we have a live Premier League fixture announcement coming out in the morning. It will be between 8:30 and 8:45 a.m. on the YouTube channel, so make sure you tune in then. Thursday, we're hoping to have a live Q&A with Alf, and then on Sunday, of course, is Stell's West Ham Weekly. Tomorrow there may be an extra bonus video in the afternoon, depending if I can do what I think I can do. So tune in, and yeah, come on you Irons.